From the air over this site, you see the jungle reclaiming all kinds of buildings which don't appear to be in use anymore.
This place is really quite beautiful in its own way. There are lots of trees around, and you have this classical Eastern architecture.
You can see one large building with this arched roof. Only it's been burnt out. Only the shell survives.
This place is full of spiritual iconography. Statues of half-dragon, half-serpent figures, which suggest religious connotations.
These buildings are designed to intrigue, but this site isn't quite what it seems.
The whole place is covered from head to toe in street art. Now, if it was indeed spiritual, surely that wouldn't be there.
There's places where you feel like you're walking in a ruin of something ancient, but then you realize that's kind of a facade, that in fact everything is relatively recent. It was just built to look old.
The biggest part of that facade is this enormous lump of earth covered in trees and towering over the rest of the site. It looks like it's a hill, but it isn't. It's entirely artificial.
A lot of money was put into this place to make an impression on people. It's all very Jurassic Park.
So what was this place? And why did such extensive investment fail to pay off?
There are lots of legends about this place. Enough that people just don't go there anymore. And once you know the story about this site, you'd be right to tread very carefully.
This is the Taman Festival Park, and it was designed to be the Disneyland of Indonesia. But something happened here that made the plan go terribly wrong.
It was opened in 1997 and cost $100 million to build. Ajik Atu is a local resident and guardian of the site.
The owners wanted something extraordinary. They imagined all forms of entertainment would be available here.
This place had it all. It had a 3D cinema screen, pavilions, restaurants. They even advertised the world's first inverted roller coaster.
In addition to the rides and all the concessions, it was also meant to be kind of a celebration of nature with a lot of exotic plants, birds.
There used to be a crocodile enclosure in this area. There were approximately 150 crocodiles, both female and male here. But now, the enclosure has been taken over by weeds. It's still dangerous to hang out here because there might be starving crocodiles around. Some are still on the loose, so people don't come here anymore.
The main attraction, though, was the huge mound at the center of the park.
This used to be an artificial volcano. Every day there was a waterfall show, as well as a rainbow show and even a laser show.
Vegas has its water fountains, Disneyland's got its fireworks. Taman Festival had this amazing technology that could draw beautiful shapes across the sky.
They expected that people would be interested in visiting. But after it opened, the reality wasn't as expected.
Their timing couldn't have been worse. Just before they opened the park, the countries of Southeast Asia went through a spectacular financial crisis that really dragged a lot of them into deep, deep recession. If you remember the financial crisis of 2008 in the US and around the world, this was a preview of that, but it mostly only affected Asia.
Furthermore, Indonesia was going through major political upheaval.
The financial crisis also led to the downfall of President Suharto, who'd ruled the country with an iron fist for about 30 years. So when he left, that led to a lot of political turmoil and uncertainty. It wasn't a good climate for tourism.
The park was meant to get over 1,000 visitors a day, but often only one person turned up.
As if that wasn't enough, a huge storm rolled in, and the park suffered a dramatic stroke of bad luck.
In 1998, around March, there was an extraordinary tragedy. When the laser show was in full swing, there was a natural disaster. Lightning struck the volcano.
The $5 million worth of gadgetry that was designed to wow the people lay a smouldering mess of metal and glass.
That turned out to be a crushing blow. They just didn't have the money to repair their laser light show, and that was supposed to be kind of the central draw, the symbol of the whole park.
Later, other parts of the complex suffered a similar fate.
This used to be a grand and beautiful building with a traditional Balinese thatched roof. Very beautiful and attractive.
Yet this rusting frame is all that remains of the central restaurant after an unexplained fire. For some, this wasn't just bad luck.
Bali is predominantly a Hindu island, and the Balinese have their own interpretation, spiritually and philosophically, of why things went wrong at the park.
Taman Festival Bali was built on approximately 10 hectares of land, which used to be an area designated for a Pura Dalem, or Temple of the Dead, and managed by the people of Sanur.
The Temple of the Dead, one of 3 sacred temple types in Bali, is typically dedicated to Shiva, in the Hindu religion, god of destruction and destroyer of evil. But it wasn't only this temple that was built over. Was there something else behind this theme park's premature demise? Taman Festival was designed to be the Disneyland of Indonesia, yet it was struck down by a series of bizarre and unfortunate events. For some, it was cursed, the result of building on the site of a former temple and cemetery.
The construction of Taman Festival displaced an old cemetery of the victims of the 1974 plane crash, where 107 passengers were buried.
For the locals, building on sacred land was a huge mistake and could explain why the park was struck down in such dramatic fashion.
Taman Festival, being built in the Pura Dalem, or Temple of the Dead area, was absolutely not something that the spirits here desired, especially if the development has an element of extravagance, alcohol sales, and so on, so it's very significant.
Abandoned in 2000, the park has since remained eerily silent, but it's believed the spirits live on.
There are lots of legends and cautionary stories about this place, so much so that people just don't visit anymore. The locals say that there are even man-eating crocodiles on the loose.
So the spirits who guard Taman Festival come in many different forms. Some are negative, some are positive. There are some who are still roaming around. We pay our respects by carrying out some small rituals, so they guard us.
With no plans to demolish the complex, the tropical forest is claiming it for its own. Yet the reasons behind its demise are still heavily debated.
When you see something built as recently as the 1990s that is today completely decaying and in disuse and disrepair, there has to have been some hubris involved, some massive miscalculation, some misreading of the market.
Whatever your personal beliefs about it, when you add up the financial crisis, the failed launch, the fire in the restaurant, and the catastrophic thunderstorm, it seems that the odds were just never in favor of this park.